Welcome back, Trekkie fans and friends, to another Good, Bad, and Batshit. This time looking at the latest very short trek, Holograms All the Way Down. I am one of your hosts, Stu.
I'm your other host, Alastair. Stu, how's it going?
Hey, Alastair. So we're almost done with these very short treks. We've only got one more left to go after this one. Um, I think it's fair to say we're kind of relieved it's coming to an end.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that talking, going to bring up again about this very short track is it feels like a big missed opportunity, and I think that's part of the reason why it will be kind of better to have them behind us because there's potential for this kind of very very short little episodic format that is a bit more plays a bit more fast and loose with canon and is able to pivot between different Trek franchises, but this series has I think not been the best realization of those possibilities. So
I couldn't agree
yeah.
more. But before we go into any details about why that might be, we need to go over to Red Alert because this episode contains spoilers for very short Trek number. I think it's number 4, isn't it?
Must be. It
Holograms
is,
all the
yeah.
way down. So now we've got Red Alert out of the way. If viewer, if you haven't seen it yet, and you don't want spoilers, go and watch it and then come back and watch this again. It's only like a couple of minutes long anyway. Won't take you long. So missed opportunity. So, well, let's talk first of all about what we liked about this episode. Let's start on a positive. What was good about it for you, Alistair?
It was really nice to see representation from all the various Trek franchises. It was a real treat to hear those voices that um, uh, come from such different times in Trek's history, coexisting in a little corner of the Trek universe like this. Um, the holodeck finale to Enterprise is a very worthy target of lampooning. So I felt the humorous skewering was at least directed in an appropriate direction this week. Um, and I also liked that I felt it wasn't trying as hard as the previous very short tracks. One thing that has really made a bad situation worse with some of the previous installments has been that I feel that not only are they not very good, but they are very, very desperate for you to appreciate them and find them very humorous for their very little effort that they're putting in. So I appreciate that it felt that this one was, it was not as desperate to be liked as some of the previous installments, which was a positive point for me. But what about you, Stu? Any of that you agree or disagree with, or what are your thoughts?
Oh, I agree entirely. I mean, it sounds to me like you're saying that these very short treks are the Reginald Barclay of the Star Trek world, um, which I couldn't agree more. I think you absolutely hit the nail on the head with your assessment there of them. Um, and this one, it's lighter. It's not trying, like you say. I have a different good point though. I've got in big capital letters, Prodigy.
Yes.
The fact that they actually acknowledge that Prodigy existed, which is something Paramount Plus have been fucking up about lately, I think is the highlight of this episode for me.
Great choice. I can absolutely see why, and I think there'll be a lot of other people out there feeling exactly the same thing about it.
The only other good thing that I can really say about it is it's still a better love story than Twilight.
Well, that
Low
sounds like
bar.
a very good note to move on to the bad. What did you not
Mm.
like about this very short track,
Oh,
Stu?
oh, I've got a ream of paper here. So I didn't think it was clever. There was no depth, no. I mean, you remember when we talked about this coming up first of all, and holograms all the way down, and we said, oh, just be one person switching off hologram, switching off, and that's hologram, and that's hologram, and that's exactly what it was. So there was nothing brilliant about it. One I suspect that we'll be revisiting when we talk about your bad stuff. That you say about wasted, the fact that the talent only had basically one line each. And I'm going to mention Prodigy again because it's great to see them in there. However, they had static cutouts of the characters. They weren't in that 1970s animated stylized sense. Lower Decks we can forgive them that for, because that isn't, that's just different. That's close to start with, so I can forgive them that. But to just have like the cutout, it would not surprise me if they've inserted that particular scene as a complete afterthought because of the outrage at them not, like, basically pretending Prodigy doesn't exist.
Interesting thought. I wouldn't be surprised if you were correct about that. And actually, I hadn't really given too much thought to the fact that they hadn't been animated in the TAS style. But I would have been quite happy to see both Prodigy and Lower Decks characters given the TAS treatment. And now that you mention it, yeah, it's a bit hard to fathom why they weren't, apart from maybe time and money, really. So, missed opportunity. I think Boimler and Mariner would have looked great as TAS
Yeah. Well, they're
art
not
characters.
not a million miles away to start. I can forgive them the Lower Decks thing. The
Well,
Lower
I
Decks.
can't, Stu.
And it's
now
interesting, in Lower
that you've
Decks,
pointed it
we've seen
out.
the 70s animation in early episodes when they've referred back to Kirk and shown him on a pad. It's been the 1970s animation of Kirk. So, yeah, I think I can see the sort of crossover there. But yeah, no, Prodigy, it felt really out of place. It felt like an afterthought.
Yeah, I totally take your point.
I could go on, but that's enough bad things from me. How about you? What didn't you like about this?
So I think again, what you've touched on already, that there's the same feeling of laziness that we've noted in basically all of these. I mean, really, trying to get to the heart of what this very short trek is going for, what I'm supposed to find compelling. And one thing about talking about it feeling like it's not trying as hard as very short treks is that it's not trying to push even the idea of the holodecks being switched off is not so much of a gag, really, and this is just something that's happening, that the humor is not forced as much on it, but really that then turns it into a fast run of kind of like, oh, it's them, I know them, and it trading on your goodwill of being like, I like that thing from somewhere else, and doing that again and again and again very quickly, and that would have been fine given that it is something for kind of a celebration of Star Trek, if it didn't feel like there was just almost nothing being done with it. These characters doing almost anything meaningful, like, I don't know, reading the Federation Charter's like main points, or reminiscing about their favorite point from the franchise that's just about to appear or something, sort of anything to give just a bit of meaning to it, whether it's humorous or not. And I actually think that this one would have changed from another kind of like, well, sort of like very sort of middling kind of installment into something that would have been really nice as a very short track for a celebration of the show's anniversary, but it wasn't to be.
It was not. Let's talk about batshit stuff. What you got on your list of batshit?
One thing on my list of batshit, but I actually was quite tickled by this, and the laughs for me have been, or even the amused sniggers have been few and far between in very short tracks. I really loved the idea that Neelix was reading a story about other people discontinuing holodeck programs. It's one of those gags where it goes by so quickly and it's part of such a fast-moving chain that it's quite easy to sort of go. You just sort of, your mind at first brush kind of goes, oh, another ridiculous thing happening in this chain of events. But when you stop and think about the reality of someone reading a story about this stuff happening, I quite enjoyed that. So it's suitably batshit, and it was actually amusing in this very short track for me, at least. So that earns it an extra point of batshit goodness. What about you, Stu?
For me, the batshit moment was Tandy talking about Boimler's fan fiction shipping the Gorn and Kirk.
Oh, that's a good pick. I can't believe I didn't know. Yeah, maybe
I mean,
I
that
should
could
change
almost be
mine.
canon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can picture that. I don't want to picture that, but I can picture that. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
maybe it is, I guess, commending of this very short trek as opposed to the others that both of us have picked something that we actually found amusing from the episode. And there's been at least a couple of these where I think both of us have kind of said there's basically nothing amusing about this, and one where we were fairly non-committal about things that were amusing in it. So the fact that we've finally got one where both of us at least had one thing that we we had a laugh at is nice for a change in the reviews of very short tracks.
This for me was absolutely the best by a long way of the very short track. I mean, that is an insanely low bar. But do you think we've peaked, or do you think Walk Don't Run might be even better?
I think we've peaked. I think we've peaked. There's a lot there. It's hard not to have goodwill towards this one because of who's involved in it, and hearing all, as I said at the start, all those voices from the history of Trek coming together for something, even if it is fairly lightweight and feels again like a missed opportunity. It's just great to have that talent assembled for one project. Honorable mention to the body horror again. Body horror frequently pops up in
amalgam
some
thing.
Yeah, and that almost got my batshit mention, but it was very very random and unprompted in the proceedings, so I passed over for the Neelix moment I actually enjoyed instead.
I that was also kind of a possibility for me for the back, but it felt too bad to be bad. It felt like a really. Do you know what it felt like? The writers didn't know how to wrap up the episode and just did wouldn't it be funny if we got an amalgam of all the characters and we don't know if it's real or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like,
so very much agree with you, Stu. Yeah, it didn't have much of a satisfying feel to the ending of that one. So
it's a camel.
Yes.
And the definition of a camel is a horse designed by committee.
So what's the
favorite line?
Oh,
I'm
no,
throwing that one at you because we haven't always done these.
I think we've not really
tracks.
Done these for the very short tracks. I'm trying to think, cast my mind back quickly. What was your favorite line? Do you have one, Stu?
It was Trip, even though this almost made my bad. Trip wasn't doing a Trip accent. Gotta wonder why. But it's when he said, It's been a long road, but I think we'll be smooth sailing from here on out. I mean, just getting in a long road.
Yes, that was a very nice moment. Agree with you about the accent, but great to hear it being slipped in.
Do you like the theme tune from Enterprise?
Um, yes, yes, I do. I think it's come to have a very special place in Star Trek. I don't even know what I'm looking for because it's not even just in theme tunes. There's something about the kind of retroactive taking ownership and taking that much maligned theme song under people's wing that kind of pleasantly defines what's positive about current Star Trek fandom, I think. So, of course, it's insanely corny. It does not mesh well with the history of Star Trek theme tunes, and it is not as pleasing a piece of music as many of the others have been. But there is something just very endearing about the earnestness of taking that piece of music and saying it's going to be a Star Trek theme song and just doing it.
Yeah, I like it. I've always liked it since it first came out. There we go. That's my hot take. But it is very divisive. Very divisive. We'll have to do a discussion about our favourite and worst theme tunes.
Ooh, that would be interesting. Yeah.
That'll be something to look forward to. In the meantime, of course, before then, we've got the last very short treks to look at next week, and that is Walk, Don't Run. I'm not holding my breath for a good episode of that. And of course, we've got Lower Decks season 4 episodes to review as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications for the channel so that you don't miss a single one of these. And let us know what you think in the comments below as well. So until next time, is there anything else you want to add at this point, Alastair?
Live long and prosper.